Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I just wanted to show you guys how to integrate Google Play Games plugin version 2.10 with Unity. And that, to my knowledge, is currently the latest version of the plugin. So to start things off here, I have a blog post that I posted up on my website a couple of days ago, which you can follow along with. And basically, on this blog post, which you see here on my screen, I basically list everything that I did to get this stupid plugin working. It took me 2 weeks to figure this shit out, and it was an extremely frustrating experience. After 48 uploads to my internal test track, I finally got it to work. So yeah, it was just ridiculous. The truth of the matter is that the official documents do not give you enough information on how to set this all up. So this was just pretty much a lot of trial and error, just trying to figure things out. And eventually I got it working. So I thought I'd share my experience because I did reference YouTube a lot. There are other people posting up YouTube videos explaining what they did to get this plugin to work in their games. There's also a lot of online posts on forums and stuff where people are explaining kind of small pieces, like they're basically giving you small pieces of information here and there depending on which site you end up on. So based on all these different Google searches and YouTube videos, I was kind of able to kind of piece everything together. So this is kind of like a comprehensive overview of everything that I came across and everything that I explored during my kind of investigative journey into figuring out how the hell the stupid plugin works and how to actually get it to authenticate. Right? It's like that was the big thing for me. I could not get this stupid plugin to authenticate. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started here. Now, I'm not going to make any guarantees that everything that I explain in this video is going to help you out, but I think most of what I am going to explain should help you get this stupid plugin working. And I really wish Unity would make this a whole lot easier for Android developers. And it would be nice if they collaborate with Google to make this whole integration process easier. But unfortunately, it's there's just a lot involved here in order to get this thing to work. So yeah. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started here. So on my blog post here, if you start reading it, basically the first thing that I mention is to download the actual plugin for Unity, which you can get from the actual Play Games plugin for Unity GitHub page, which is the page that I currently have up here. So there's a URL in the address bar there. So on this page here, you're going to find some information on how to download the plugin, and then how to upgrade the plugin, how to decrease the APK size. Gives you some other information as well. And actually, I think there's something missing here. Upgrade instructions, documentation. There's an official developer guide. So there's the developer guide. Right. Okay. So the developer guide, I went through all this shit. So this basically explains before you begin, set up your Play Console. So before you do any of this, you're going to have to set up your game in Google Play Console. I'm not going to be explaining how to do that in this video, but basically it's very important that you follow along with these steps here. So let's see what it shows here. Set up Google Play Game Services. Create a Google Play developer account. Create a Google Cloud project. So you're going to have to create a Google Play account and a Google Cloud project. Sign into your Play Console. Add your game to the Play Console. And then generate an OAuth 2.0 client ID. So your game must have an OAuth 2.0 client ID in order to be authenticated and authorized to call the Google Play Game Services. To set up a credential for Play Game Services, which is the association between a client ID and your game, use the Google Cloud Platform to create the client ID. Then use Google Play Console to add a credential, linking the client ID to your game. So this is extremely important. You need to do this, all right? So I think I have a screenshot of that here on my site. So if I scroll down a bit, Yeah, so this is the Google Cloud Platform, and you'll notice here that I have an upload signing key. So basically, once you get this client ID created, it gives you a SHA-1 certificate fingerprint, and this fingerprint needs to get assigned to your game in Google Play Console. Okay, so that needs to be associated with your Google Play Console game. So I'm kind of jumping a little bit ahead here, so let me kind of backtrack a bit. So let me go straight back up here. Right. Actually, I'm not really jumping ahead because in order for this to work, you need to have your game set up in Google Play Console, obviously, and you need to have a signing key associated with that as well. So if I recall correctly, your signing key comes from your key store file. Hold on a sec. Let me just confirm that. I should have written that down here. Where am I here? Yeah. So you need to create your key store key first, which you create using the key store manager in Unity. So let me just quickly show you where that is here. So in your Unity project, you would go under project settings under player, and then under publishing settings, there's a button here called key store manager. So this is where you would create your key store. So this key store file gets linked to your Unity project. So after you create your key store, you need to load that key store using the custom key store option. So you would check that on and then browse for your key store wherever you saved it. And then you would have to enter the password. You would have to enter the password for your key store. And then you would have to select your alias and enter the password for your alias as well. All right. So after you have that done, you're going to have to extract your SHA-1 key from your file, and you can actually do that using this line of code here. So basically, what you want to do first is if you're on Windows, you're going to want to open up your command prompt, and then you're going to want to copy and paste this line of code here. It might be a little bit different depending on the editor version that you have installed. In my case, I'm currently running 2022.3.62 F2, which I believe is the latest version, which has that recent security patch. So you're going to want to locate this folder here, which ends with the bin folder. Sorry about that. This URL is getting cut off a bit, but actually, that's the whole URL there. So once you're in this folder here, which is the bin folder of your OpenJDK, you're going to want to run this line here. So it's basically there's a file within that folder called keytool, and the keytool allows you to extract your SHA-1 key from your key store file. So basically here where it says your.keystore, you're going to want to replace this with the actual name of your file. So if it could be the name of your game, so maybe it could be yourgame.keystore or whatever. So once you run this command on your key store file, then you'll be able to see your SHA-1 key from that. So this is pretty much what you'll see after you get I guess once you run the code successfully. It'll give you all of the details of your key store file, and within that, you're going to see your SHA-1 key and your SHA-256 key. In this case here, you're just going to need your SHA-1 key. So this SHA-1 key is going to get assigned to your Google Cloud Console credential. Right, so let me just go back here real quick. Right, so that would essentially get applied in here, and then you would save it. Right, so that would become your upload signing key. So that is absolutely required. You're going to need that. And then later on, you're also going to have to create an app signing key, but we'll get to that a little bit later in this video. So that's the first, I guess that's kind of like the first thing you need to set up before actually installing the plugin and getting that all connected. Okay, so that's getting your upload signing key all sorted out. Okay, so hopefully that all makes sense. So let's move on to the next thing here. God damn it. Sorry. Okay, so what's the next thing we got to do here? Okay, so once you have your game set up in Google Play Console, actually, sorry, again, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to download the plugin. Okay, so here on the setup page, there is a link to the plugin installation. So download and install the Google Play Games plugin. So if you go to the GitHub repo, okay, so this is essentially what you can download here. Just download this Unity package. Where the hell do you download it here? GitHub. Why can't I download that? You know what? Hold on a sec. I have another. I think I have another plugin here. Okay, forget this link here. Use this link. You can actually download it right from here. So on this page here, they actually give you the entire zip file, which is a source code.zip, I guess, or Play Games plugin for Unity 2.10. So after you download that plugin, you're going to want to locate the actual Unity package within that zip file. Where exactly is that saved again? Hold on a sec. Let me quickly download this. Desktop, save. And then let's open this up. Okay, and then within the zip file, I believe it is under current build. Yep. Okay, so you're going to want to extract this file here, and then you're going to want to import it in Unity. So when you're in Unity, give me a break. When you're in Unity, you can import that file under Assets, Import Package, Custom Package. Okay, and then you can search for that package file, and you can import it. When you're importing it, just import all the files. You don't have to exclude anything. Okay, so once you have that installed, you're going to see in Unity under the window menu option here, you're going to see Google Play Games, and you're going to see a setup option here. And then within here, you can do your Android setup, and you can also do your nearby connection setup. And there's also documentation and whatever the about bullshit here, whatever the hell that is. Yeah, so that's this is where you would go after. So after you install the package, you would go to Window, Google Play Games, Setup, Android Setup, and then that screen there on the setup screen, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to paste in your resources definition, which you get from your Google Play Console account, and you can also enter your client ID. So the resources definition, that actually gets generated after you create like a leaderboard or an achievements. And once you do that, so here's another screenshot. Yeah, so once you set up like achievements or a leaderboard, you'll see here like on my achievement screen, there's a button here called Get Resources. So you would basically click on the Get Resources button. That'll load up like a separate window that shows your resources. You can just copy and paste that, and then in Unity you can just paste it into that window, into this window here, into the resources definition. And then your web app client ID, you can also get that from your Google Play Console. So there is a screen. Actually, sorry, I think the client ID actually comes from your Google Cloud Console, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, it's not that hard to find. It's either on the Google Play Console or it's in your Google Cloud Console, right? But it's basically your client ID, which is a bunch of numbers followed by a really long string, followed by some other, I don't know, domain extensions or whatever the hell's at the end of that. I don't remember. Okay, so that's basically what you would do after you get the Unity plugin installed. You would set that up there, and then there's also one additional thing you can do. You can set up the nearby connection service. I'm not 100% sure if this is even required, but I came across a few posts online where people were suggesting that this field gets populated because they claimed that that's what they needed in order to get their Google Play services to authenticate. So I went ahead and added it just for sanity's sake. So it's very easy to populate. It's basically just your package name. So in this case, it's com.spacelabgames.shadow of the Orient DE. So that's pretty easy to do. Okay, so once all that's done, so the plugin is installed, we have it all configured, we have our resources definitions in place, we have our client ID populated, and we have our nearby connection setup completed. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create a game object, preferably within your main scene or maybe your main menu. In my case, what I did was in my main menu, I have a game object here called Play Game Services, which has a component assigned to it, which is just a custom script called Play Game Services. And the code that I have assigned to that is this code here. This is all the code that's pretty much found within that file. I just want to mention that this is actually a singleton that I created. So what I'm doing is I'm basically just loading this file in my main menu screen, and then that file is going to persist throughout the game, throughout the entirety of my project. So as I'm jumping between scenes or between game levels, that Play Game Services is always going to persist. And that's going to allow me to communicate with the Play Game Services no matter which screen I load up. Okay, so that's pretty much how I structured that. So if you look at the code here, there's it basically extends mono behavior. So we have our start, and then from the start, we just call playgamesplatform.activate. We call our sign-in function here. We're using the, in this case here, we're using social. We're not using the Play Games platform to authenticate. We're using social, which is native to Unity. So we're calling social.localUser.authenticate. So this seems to work just fine. Just use the social method. I think you could also do it with the Play Games platform. I think it's playgamesplatform.authenticate or playgamesplatform.instance.authenticate. But in this case here, this seems to work just fine for me. So I'm just using the social one. And then there's a few other functions here. One is calling the achievements UI. The other function is calling the show leaderboards UI. And then I have another function here which adds a score to a leaderboard. This one's also using the social namespace, social.reportScore. And then for the achievements and leaderboards, I'm just using the Play Games platform namespace. Yeah. Okay, so that's the code that you're going to want to add to your game object. Again, it would be a good idea if you make it a singleton so it persists throughout your entire game project if you have multiple scenes. Okay, so that's getting everything set up in Unity. Okay, so the next thing I want to mention are my player settings. So currently the way I have my player settings configured. So go to project settings, player. What do I have here? Other settings. Okay, so under other settings, you're going to want to make sure that the scripting backend is set to IL2 CPP. Make sure you target your proper API levels. All right, and then everything else here should be okay. And then under publishing settings, again, as I mentioned earlier, this is where you would load in your custom key store file, and then you would enter your passwords. And then under build settings, this is pretty much what I currently have checked on. I believe these are all the default checks that Unity sets up or the Android Resolver sets up. So another thing I should mention is that after you install the Unity plugin, if you go under Assets, External Dependency Manager, you'll see that there's Android Resolver. So you can use this to resolve all of the files that are within your project. Because basically what this does is, in order for this to work, there needs to be like a few Gradle files created or something along those lines. I'm not 100% sure. And this will basically create all of the necessary Gradle files, which, so the purpose of these Gradle files is that it loads all of the libraries that it requires from the Google servers in order to get Google Play Games plugin to run correctly, right? So after you get everything set up, it's a good idea to come here under Android Resolver and run a force resolve to make sure that everything gets compiled correctly. Okay, so that's one thing to keep in mind. And if everything resolves correctly, you should get like a message saying that that the resolution was successful. If the resolution fails, then that means there's something misconfigured or something wrong with your project. So you're going to want to go to your console window and check what the error is, and then do some investigation work. And then just whatever the error is, you're going to have to figure it out, and you're going to have to fix it. And then once you do that, run a force resolve again, and then see if it succeeds. All right, so I just want to keep that in mind because that's a very important step. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, so now we're going to get back to the credentials. So we already covered the upload signing key earlier in the video. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create an app signing key. So going back to your Google Cloud Console, you're going to have to create another client ID. Oh yeah, so this is actually where, so if you notice here in the screenshot, see where it says client ID. So this is where you would obtain your client ID for your, sorry, where am I here? For your client ID and when you're configuring Google Play Games in Unity. So in this field here, your client ID actually comes from your upload signing key, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it should be the one that comes from, actually, sorry, I think it should be the one from your app signing key. I don't recall 100%. It should be one or the other, so you can try both. But I believe it's the app signing key that needs to go in here. All right, so getting back to our credentials. Okay, so just to get some of the stuff out of my way here for a second. Okay, so our upload signing key. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to create an additional OAuth 2.0 client ID, which contains your app signing key. So this app signing key is actually created by Google, which you can obtain from your Google Play console. So this can be found here. I actually listed here on my website. So app signing key, which is created by Google, can be obtained through your Google Play console account under Test and Release App Integrity. Then scroll down to Play App Signing and click on Settings, right? Of course, I didn't link this one up, but let me zoom in here a bit. So if you notice here in our Google Play console under Test and Release, you want to go to App Integrity. And then on this page here, you're going to want to scroll down under Play App Signing. You'll see a button here called Settings, and on that page there, you'll see your upload signing key and then your app signing key. So under the app signing key, you're going to want to get your SHA-1 key. So okay, so I have a screenshot here for that. So this is the app signing page. Okay, sorry. So the first one that you're going to see is your app signing key certificate. So here, what you need to do is you need to copy your SHA-1 certificate fingerprint, and you're going to have to paste that into the Google Cloud Console. All right, so it's going to look very similar to this. So basically, instead of an upload signing key, now you're working with an app signing key. And for the SHA-1 certificate fingerprint, you're going to want to copy and paste the fingerprint that you get from Google and paste it into your Google Cloud Console. So that would go in here, and then you would hit save. And then once that's done, you can hit verify ownership to make sure that to verify the ownership between your Google Cloud Console and your Google Play console. So if everything's configured correctly and you click on verify ownership, you should get like a green check mark that says that your app has been verified. All right. Let me see, do I have a screenshot of that here? Yes, I do. Okay, so see here, Android app signing key. So in this case here, I have my app signing key in my Google Cloud Console, and it's also in my Google Play console. So after this is done, you can click on that verify button, and then you'll get a message here that says your app ownership has been verified. All right. Okay. So just to recap, it's very important that you have your two client IDs created in your Google Cloud Console. One is for the upload signing key, and one is for the app signing key. Okay. All right. So now, after we have all that done, let's see what else we need to do here. Okay. So now there's one other thing we need to do in Unity. At least I had to do this in order to get the everything working correctly. If I do a search for GPGS, was it? Yeah. So you'll see here in my search results, if I click on this one here, with the icon's like a little puzzle icon. If you click on that, and then you look under the inspector, you'll see here that under include platforms, I had to check on Android. All right, so originally this was checked off. And if I do a force resolve, it actually unchecks this option for some reason. So this option does not get included when you do a force resolve. So it's very important that you do a force resolve on your project first, then locate this file and check on Android. And do not perform a force resolve after that, because if you do, this is going to get unchecked. At least for me, it did. Right? So it's very important that this is your last step before you do a force resolve and you get a successful resolve. And then go to locate this file here, check on Android, save your project, and do your build. Okay, so that's very important. Because if this doesn't stay checked on, then you'll be able to authenticate your app, but you won't be able to communicate to the leaderboards or to the achievements. Those calls will not work. That basically, because if this is checked off, you're basically going to get an error in the Logcat. So if you're using Logcat to check your Unity applications, you're going to get an error saying that something about a fragment helper object not being found within the Java library. So that is required in order for the Playgames platform class to communicate with the leaderboards and the achievements. So it's very important that you check this on. All right, so I think we're almost there. Okay, so after all of this has been completed on your end, you should be able to authenticate your app. And actually, sorry, up to this point here, for me, my authentication was still not working. There was one last thing I had to do before I got my authentication working, right? And if you scroll down here, you'll actually see Barf from Spaceballs saying, holy shit. And the reason why that is because in order to get my Google Play Games to authenticate, I had to get my OAuth consent screen approved by Google. Okay? So that was the last thing I did in order to get my authentication working. After I did that, my authentication worked no problem. So in order to get this authenticated, this is also done through your Google Cloud Console. You can do it under the branding screen. So basically here you would enter in all of your information related to your app, upload your app logo, enter your app domain, your privacy, your policy link, your terms of service link, your user support email, blah, blah, blah. You enter all that information in, you hit save, and then it goes through a verification process, which takes a couple of days. And then if Google sees that everything is fine, they'll verify you, and then your OAuth consent screen gets verified. And then that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the last step that I had to do in order to get my Playgames plugin to authenticate. So once that's done, you'll see that there's a button here called Verification Center. If you click on that, it'll say that your app is fully verified. And basically at that stage there, you're pretty much good to go to, start integrating the Google API services, right? And actually, sorry, there's one thing I forgot. Shit. I actually forgot to mention that here in my article. In your Google Cloud Console, shit. Let me see if I can get, God damn it. Oh boy. So there's one thing I forgot to mention in my article. In your Google Cloud Console, it's very important that you add the correct APIs to your application. So if we go under the, let's see if we can find it here. Give me 1 second. Let's go to the releases page. Actually, sorry, let's go here. I think it's on this page here. It might be. Verify authentication service. Use PlayUp signing. Build and run the project. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Shit. Where the hell was it? It's got to be here. Okay. This is why I hate the official documentation, because it does not make any mention of this, and that just pisses me the hell off. I think I found it was somewhere. It was listed somewhere. I can't exactly remember where it was listed. Okay, let's go here. Let's go here. GitHub release page. Social interface. Shit, where the hell did I mention it again? One thing I should mention here is that one thing I forgot to mention is that in my application, you'll notice under Minify, I currently have that unchecked. Originally, I had release checked on, but I unchecked it because when I minified it for release production, a lot of the libraries for Google Play Game Services were being excluded. So if that's the case, what you might have to do if you need to minify your application is you might need to click on custom ProGuard file. And once you do that, it generates this ProGuard user text file. And then within that file, you're going to have to copy and paste all of these classes into there in order to keep all of the correct libraries. In order to get all of these libraries to actually load within your application. It's absolutely stupid that you have to do that, but that is something that is required if you're going to minify your application. Okay, so in my case, my application is under 150 megabytes, so I don't have to do a minification. But that's just something that I wanted to point out because that's very important if you're going to be minifying your game or your Unity application. Okay, so I can't remember where it was exactly, but in your Google Cloud Console, you need to enable the Google Play Games Services API, and then there's 3 libraries you need to add for that API. I can't exactly remember which ones they are, but after you finish watching this video, I'm going to post a link down below in the description, which will have the information that you need. Which I'm actually going to be posting on my blog post. I'm actually going to go in and update that. I'm going to add a screenshot for it so you know exactly which API libraries need to be included. So you'll be able to find that on the actual article. All right. So that pretty much concludes this video. I hope you guys found it useful. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on my Discord channel. If you go to my website, there's a button here called Join Our Discord. Feel free to jump onto my Discord and feel free to ask me questions. I'm usually on during the day. Yeah, so that's it for this video. And guys, I hope you guys found it useful. If you guys did, feel free to like and also subscribe. And that's it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.